Welcome back to College Football Pregame, presented by FanDuel. And over on the network today, the Big Ten on CBS is back for another season. And it all starts in Happy Valley this afternoon for Nevada at number 2, Penn State. And we are so excited to welcome in our next guest. He is the head coach of the number 2 Penn State Nittany Lions, James Franklin. And Coach, you heard me say it, that little number 2 next to your name means that expectations are so high this season. How do you manage that pressure both internally and with the rest of your team as you get ready to kick off today?
Good morning, guys. Appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. Not a whole lot has changed here for us. I think obviously there's a lot more conversations going on nationally, and that's great because our guys have earned that. But in the Lash Football Building, in Happy Valley here, the expectations are always really high. We felt that last year as well. Most importantly, we got to go out and handle our business against Nevada, not take anything for granted, and play well.
Coach, you guys have a fantastic quarterback in Drew Aller. He's in his second year with Andy Koltnicki in that system. Where do you want him to take that next step forward for you guys for the Nittany Lions?
Yeah, I think your point is a good one. As a quarterback, being able to be in the same system now for multiple years. Obviously did some great things last year and was being projected as a first-round draft choice, decided to come back to school. It's not really one area specifically that I feel like he needed to get better. It's a little bit in every area, and he's taken those steps, significant steps, every single year since he's arrived on campus. He's leaner. Last year he was about 242. This year he's about 235. He's moving extremely well. Command of the offense. His touchdown to interception ratio and his completion percentage is as good as anybody that ever played at Penn State. So we just want to continue building on all those things. Leadership, a strong voice on the sideline at practice every single day. And he just continues to get better, and I'm proud of, excited to watch him play today.
Coach, with all the success that you've had at Penn State, and we know that you're still patiently but anxiously awaiting that national championship win, with all the doubters and the naysayers saying that Penn State can't get it done in the big games, is this, with the talent that you have and the coaching staff that you have, is this a championship or bust mentality for this team going into the season?
Yeah, I think positive is we're a part of that conversation, right? We're getting criticized for seasons that 99% of the programs in the country would die to have. But that's why you came to Penn State. That comes with it. That's part of it. And, the best part about all of it is we're in total control of the season, of the games, and of the narrative that's out there. So, we got a chance to go out and play really well against Nevada. We're going to approach it that way because if you're not careful, you start talking about all these things at the end of the season and certain games, and then you don't play well against a team like Nevada, and then things get real ugly. So our guys are focused on that as a staff, and so are our players.
Hey, Coach, as you can see, I am the only former defensive player up here on this panel with a host of offensive guys. And we know defense wins championships. And with that being said, you have a new defensive coordinator there in town in Jim Knowles. Your defense has always been highly respected under your watch. But what should we expect to see from your defense now with Jim Knowles as a DC?
Well, it's good to see you up there. Defensive guys need love, too. Don't let them gang up on you. Don't let them gang up on you. But, yeah, we've been fortunate. I'm very proud as an offensive head coach background perspective. Every defensive coordinator I've had since we've been here at Penn State has had a top 10 defense. That's obviously a credit to them, but it's also culturally kind of how we operate and what we do. Being able to bring Jim home, he's from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to run our defense. Obviously, the expectations are sky high and feel like we can take another step, which is hard to do when you've already been top 10, right? So his background, his experience, not only at Ohio State, but also at Oklahoma State and Duke. He's done this a number of times. This is a little bit different scenario that he's walking into, but he's been phenomenal. And those experiences have been really valuable. And our players are excited to play this style of defense. And I think with the creativity and with the diversity of what we do defensively, I think it's going to give us more answers for some of the challenges that we'll have throughout the season.
Hey, Coach, we know how iconic the number 11 has been for your team. And we got word that you guys have given number 11 to LeVar Arrington Jr. What have you seen from his play on the football field that led to that decision to say, you know what, you're getting number 11?
Well, a couple things. Number one, we didn't give it to him. He earned it. Obviously his father wore that number here. There's been a number of great players that have wore that number and taken a lot of pride in it. So when we recruited LeVar, that was part of the conversation. That was really important to him. He's wearing it with honor. He is working his tail off every single day physically. You'll see him today. He's a beautiful young man when we're talking about as a football player, and has got a very, very bright future. So he's upholding that number every single day, and think he has a bright future at Penn State, and can't wait to see him get out there and start to make big plays like everybody else has in that number.
Yeah, Coach, forgive me, but I understand all the defensive talk, but we still got to put up points on offense. And everybody knows your big names on offense, but can you tell us somebody that's might be a sleeper right now but could end up being a household name by the end of the year that's explosive on the offensive side for you?
Well, first of all, you said all the defensive talk. We got one guy up there said one thing, and now it's all the defensive
more
talk.
than enough.
And he got two questions.
Yeah, I'm not going to let him gang up on you like that. So we went into the transfer portal and went and got 3 receivers, and we got production. Right, guys that have already done it at the college level. So we expect and need Pena, Hudson, and Ross to have big years for us. Those 3 guys, as well as some other guys in our program too. But the other name I'm going to mention is a returner. Katron Allen has had his first off season where he's been healthy enough to really train. I don't think it's a story that enough people are talking about. We have had 2 backs that have shared time their entire college careers, and they have a chance to go down as the number 1 and number 2 all-time rushers in Penn State history, and they've shared carries their entire career in Singleton and Katron Allen. But Katron looks different with a true off season of development. So we're going to need all those guys to make plays, but the wide receivers are going to be a huge part of what we need to do this year.
Coach, I know you've been busy getting ready for the game today, and you've been slammed, and there's been a story that kind of flew under the radar a little bit that you might not have heard about, but it has rocked the NFL world, and that is your former player, Micah Parsons, getting traded from the Cowboys to the Packers. What was your reaction when you heard that news?
What happened? Micah got traded? Is that
right?
Is out there? I haven't heard that.
Yeah.
I've had some good conversations with Micah. We're still very close. We text or talk often. I actually talked to the defensive coordinator of the Packers the other day. We had a conversation after everything went down. But he's a dynamic player, right? They drafted him for a reason, and now obviously the Packers made the trade for a reason. He's been one of the most disruptive players since he stepped into the NFL, and we expect that to continue. One of the best competitors I've ever been around, and I'm just happy for his family. And I'm an old Green Bay guy. I spent time with the Packers as the receivers coach, so I think he's really going to enjoy it. It's a lot like Happy Valley, State College, Pennsylvania, very much a college-type town, and I think he's going to thrive there.
Number 1 of those legendary players to wear that number 11. James Franklin getting ready to play against Nevada on the Big Ten on CBS at 3:30. Thank you so much for joining us here on College Football Pregame, Coach.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Have a wonderful day.
We love it. So you heard from James Franklin, and I have to say he sounds so calm, cool, and collected. We tried to get him excited about those expectations and, egg him on a little bit. And why are you the guy to bring them to this next chapter? What did you think of his answer to that question?
Well, I like that he was open and transparent. And one thing that he said is, I've been criticized, this team has been criticized for having seasons that most programs would love to have. And the most important thing that he said following that was, we are in a position to where we control our destiny. So to me, that sounds like accountability. That sounds like potentially a change could be made. But overall, you're in the right headspace. And he didn't back away from the talk of, is this championship or bust? He said, well, yes. I mean, we are trying to play at the highest level. We have the opportunity to control our destiny. And our biggest goal is to go and win that national championship. So I thought he said all the right things. I mean, that's what a head coach gets paid to do. But ultimately, we're going to have to wait and see whenever Penn State steps on the field.
There are about 110 college football programs that would love to have the problem and the criticism that James Franklin has taken. He has elevated this program to where they are knocking on the door. Now they've just got to go knock it down and kick down the door and win that national championship. And when you're in this stratosphere, when you're in this, like Lamar Jackson takes heat for lack of postseason success. This guy's a multiple MVP winner. Great coaches have taken criticism. We played for one. Bobby Bowden, I was here before he got his national title. People criticized him, said he couldn't win the big game. Dabo Swinney at Clemson, a long time. It was Clemsoning. Remember, they couldn't win the big one. So it's a part of the territory that they're in, but a lot of programs would love to have this problem.
You guys, when I look at James Franklin and this team for 2025, it reminds me a lot of what we saw with Ryan Day in Ohio State a year ago. Because of the money they spent in the NIL landscape, the expectations were high for them. And remember, we were saying as we got ready for football a year ago, they got to win it all because of what they've done. Well, Penn State didn't spend the same amount of money, but in terms of the returners they got back, yeah, that they kept, and then some of the other transfers that he alluded to, the expectations are very, very high, along with the uncertainty with some of the other teams in the division. Ryan Day delivered. So, and even though there were ebbs and flows, remember how the fans turned their back on Ryan Day when they lost to Michigan.
They wanted to fire him.
Yes.
I was about to say, you made a great point. Because they were serious talks of him being fired at the end of the year after he lost to Michigan.
Yeah.
So I think this situation for Coach Franklin and Penn State, he's almost in the same boat as Coach Day last year for Ohio State. Like, this is your opportunity. You're almost in your window, like they say in the pros, where you're in your window to win it all. So you got to get it done this year, because if this year passes up and you don't get it done, I don't know if this happens again for him anytime soon.
You can tell. He absolutely knows it. He knows those are the expectations, especially with the group and the guys he has coming back. This was a team that did play for a Big Ten championship last year, so they were very close last year, hoping to get there next year. You can watch, or this year, you can watch Penn State, the #2 ranked team in the nation, on display on the Big Ten on CBS. Kickoff today at 3:30 Eastern, hosting the Wolfpack of Nevada.